So, what's going on? Good morning, good day, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, if that is the time where you are existing. Right now, it would seem that the golden boy of Ferrari is starting to lose a little bit of its shine. The Monegasque brother, who many of us probably assumed or thought that his days would start in with Ferrari and he would likely not be anywhere else but Ferrari. Indeed, that may not be true in the near future. And in the near future, I do mean possibly a couple of years. So, first thing that we're going to take a look at is the live chat. Say hello to Mary Beanie if she got in here first. Big shout out to everybody else pulling up and that is on deck for the live chat. Just Sean just coming in. Good morning to you too, fam. Oscar coming in. Good morning to you too. As we are in a GP weekend, Miss Dino pulling up. Big shout out to you too. And let's just take a look at this as we look at some things. And right here, you're going to see a contract extension, of course, 2025 to 2028, which is the current contract for Charles Leclerc with Ferrari. 16, that's not $16, people. It's not $16. All right, $16 is not the signing bonus. You should know very well that is not it. We are talking about millions when we are speaking about Charles Leclerc and his ability and his financial situation with Ferrari. And we are talking about the cap hit there would be $34 million cash annually for this contract and will be a free agent in 2029. We also do know that, of course, Charles Leclerc is the driver many of us assumed would be there, right? Age 27 right now, still 3 years from 30. If we look at his cash breakdown, $34 million. All right, visual breakdown. This is what he's got going on for this season. He hasn't hit $40 million yet, and I honestly don't think Charles Leclerc will hit $40 million on any team until he wins a championship. I think $40 million is going to be reserved for Charles Leclerc to win a championship. And once he finally does that, then maybe he'll talk about $40 million. Right now, honestly, and he's kind of in a murky area with Ferrari because Ferrari have fumbled up a lot of things, and I don't think you can completely blame or hold these drivers accountable for the lack of performance, especially for this season. And I'm really going to say not even next season, honestly. Next season, they're likely going to be able to kind of ride skirt free because I think Ferrari again will likely drop the ball again. I honestly think Ferrari's going to drop the ball. So what do we have going on right here? This is what we have going on. As it stands and as it sits, it would seem that the management team for Charles Leclerc is out and about scouring the lands of Formula One and teams for potential landing spots. Italian outlet RMC reported on Monday that Leclerc agent Nicolas Tot held a meeting with McLaren boss Andrea Stella at Monza during the Italian Grand Prix earlier in September. They have also claimed that Todd has been in direct contact with Lawrence Stroll at Aston Martin and Mercedes Toto Wolff over the past few weeks. Okay, so we're talking about McLaren. I really don't think that landing spot is anything near. What's up, Wildcat? See Wildcat pull up. And big shout out to my bro Galactus as I got with him over the weekend. So big shout out to Galactus. I don't think McLaren is going to be anything. I think that's kind of standard procedure. I think you're going to talk to all of the top teams or teams that likely have an opportunity or look like they have some promise in their future to come. I don't think McLaren is going to be one of those. It could be possible for McLaren to be one of those, although I think it's unlikely if they upset the balance with Oscar Piastri. If things don't go or things start going awry with McLaren and Oscar, and by that I mean if McLaren pushes to the point where Oscar sees this is not truly an unbiased team. This is not truly a team that legitimately are saying we're going to treat these drivers equally. Behind the scenes, underneath the couch, in some crack crevice or in the shadows, there is more of a vote and a loyalty to Lando Norris than there is to who literally would probably be the better driver. What's up, Baraka in the live chat? Big shout out to the bro pulling up. And if Oscar Piastri feels that way, And if he doesn't win a driver's championship, because let's just keep it real, winning does cure a lot of things. If Oscar Piastri gets the driver's championship this season, that can cure a lot. And that could give a little bit more patience to Oscar if they said the next season, maybe, can we favor Lando a little bit if we happen to be in this driver's championship? I'm not sure he's going to go for that, but I'm just saying he might have a little bit more patience to hear that. But I will say if he's in driver's championship contention for another driver's championship next season, there's a case for him to say, why should I? I won it last season. I'm in contention and leading this season. Obviously, I'm the better driver. So why should I lend or bend the knee for Lando for me to get one, him to get one? If I'm clearly your better driver, you might want to consider changing out Lando. And if that is a situation, does McLaren consider bringing in Leclerc and having Oscar Piastri? Or do they say, you know what, we're going to keep Lando. Lando's our driver for whatever reason that may be. And Oscar Piastri says, good day to you then, sir. I don't think so. I think it's very unlikely, but anything is kind of possible until it's not possible, and that's still a possibility. So as it goes and we sit here and we look at the other team that they went and talked to, Aston Martin. And I think Aston Martin is an unbelievably legit opportunity or option. Let's just keep it real. Aston Martin does not have at the top of the game legit elite driver right now with future potential. Alonso is truly on the back end of his career. The sun has already set. He's just got good LED porch lights. He's truly on the back end of his career. Lance Stroll, hell, he barely really got a career in Formula One. Let's just keep it a buck. Lance Stroll is not that in Formula One. So as it sits right now, Aston Martin has collected a conglomerate of goodies to win something, but have the drivers to lose everything. Their best driver is Alonso by far. The best driver is Alonso, but he's the best driver with the least amount of potential and longevity. So, yeah, I think Aston Martin is a legit opportunity, but the thing is, Lawrence Stroll's always going to keep this team hamstrung with Lance Stroll. Because to me, I don't care for the guy, but let's just keep it real. If you could potentially keep Alonso for a couple of more years, that's fine if you want to do that. If you want some elder statesman on the board. But if you're really trying to win and win for a long time, you know what you really do, Aston Martin? You move your son to reserve driver. And honestly, I'm not even saying that. I'm going to keep it all the way a buck. You move Alonso to reserve driver. If that's something he wants to do, if he's ready to kind of let go of the steering wheel and help a team just improve, which Alonso doesn't seem like the team player, but either way it goes, Alonso or Lance Stroll move to reserve driver. You bring Felipe up. You bring Charles Leclerc in. You probably got a real solid driver lineup right there. You got Honda. You got Adrian Newey. You got the facilities. You got the money. You got the backing. You got a pretty good squad. Aston Martin would be good if Aston Martin, by way of Lawrence Stroll, could get out of their way to legitimately put a good driver's lineup in. But that seems to be the problem there. And as we go back into it, Mercedes and Toto Wolff. Toto Wolff is just gawking and gazing and daydreaming and having wet dreams about if he could actually get Max Verstappen to come there. They've yet, that I know of, to solidify this deal. What's up, Dreads? I see you in the live chat. To solidify this deal or an extension with George Russell, whom I feel has earned and does deserve that extension, because they're kind of waiting and looming around to see if these talks and these rumors and the smoke that has been flying about Max Verstappen going somewhere else. And then you got a rookie who you've had off tilt because he's unsure about his young potential just starting career. I don't think Mercedes is a likely destination unless Mercedes finally proves that we can get back on the groove. They've been off for 4 seasons now. They just really started resembling something of progress. We don't know what any of these teams is going to look like next season as the regulations change, but I do have faith in Mercedes because we've seen them do it before into a new era of regulations, get it right, be strong in competing. So I can't count them out on that, but they have to prove it. They have to prove it. After you've gone through 4 seasons of just ridiculousness, you got to prove it. And that's just fair. It's just fair. It'd be different if it was 1 season, but it's been 4 seasons. You got to prove it to me. Same way Ferrari has, like I told you, they got to prove it to me right now that they're going to be able to turn the leaf, the cheek, and do something better than what they've done for the past decade or so. And they haven't proved that to us. Pit stops is great, but performance has been lackluster. Development's been kind of crashed, and development's been like, what the hell are we talking about? Hey, what's that about? So other than that, we go into also fresh reports on Monday have suggested that Charles Leclerc's manager has been in direct talks with Aston Martin, McLaren, This discussion are reportedly being conducted with a focus beyond 2026 as it remains unknown which teams will be on the top in the new regulations of era. Like I said, Max Verstappen is waiting for the same thing, okay? I know what he said about being at Red Bull, but legitimately he's waiting to see if Red Bull are going to be able to produce something very dominant to the point he doesn't have any competition. Because it would seem that that's the only way Max Verstappen could legitimately win and rail off a bunch of consecutive wins. Because in a situation where Red Bull they are amongst competition, he's only got 4 race wins for the year. Max Verstappen likely knows I can't win consistently unless I'm 19 seconds out in front. That's how I win consistently. Charles Leclerc I don't think he's looking for as much as that. You know what I think Charles is looking for? I think he's looking for consistency and somebody who can be competitive in and out of weekends, regardless if it's 5 seconds in front or 10 seconds in front. Can you competitively make me a car where in and out of there, it can come down to me as the driver, and I can will this car to the finish line? And can we please have something else? Can we have legitimate strategies? Can we have legitimate, consistent strategies throughout the season calendar as we visit many circuits? Can we get a strategist? Can we get a team together that can be solid? Leclerc's just looking for consistency. Ferrari hasn't shown him that. Ferrari hasn't shown Lewis Hamilton that. Ferrari hasn't shown any of us that in a long time. And he's getting impatient. You want to know why he's getting impatient? Because he's sitting there with a teammate who's a 7-time world champion who just wasted 3 years of his life with Mercedes because they didn't get it right. And because they kept telling him that he didn't know what he was talking about. I could imagine that Charles has already had some of those conversations at Ferrari. That Charles, just let us handle it. We got it. You just need to drive and be ready. When we give it to you, it's going to be right, and it hasn't been right. Charles, don't worry about it. We're about to come out with a fresh, new, brand new car, and when I tell you this car is going to be the beast, it's going to be right. It didn't happen. Charles, don't worry about it. We're going to get it right. We're going to come up with this major update package. I mean, we're going to drop this update package. It's going to be a bomb out here. And when it drops, you going to be the bomb. It didn't happen. Nothing exploded. It's like a fireworks that you bought, and it was probably set in water or set without a desiccant, and you lit that damn wick, and guess what happened? That's all. That's all you got. We've been waiting for this red team to go hot. It hasn't happened. How many more years does he want to waste? He's 27 years old. He's still young. But do you want to wait until you're 35 with Ferrari to maybe get one if that happens? The best thing that is about to happen to several other teams that held solid during this season based off their cars last season is that at least we were competitive this season because we were competitive last season. We don't need to change much. We're just going to update what we have, make changes along the way, but we're not going to change majority of this car because we're about to go into a new era of regulations where we're going to have to do that anyway, and we're going to be on a back foot. There, to me, is no efficient workflow for Ferrari to tell us that we did what we did so we could be prepared for 2026. How? You have active aero coming both front and aft of this car next season. How are you preparing for any of that? How are you simulating that in actual race trim form? You're not. You're not. Now, maybe there may be some way you can kind of simulate that 50-50 split, but I don't see how you do that and not get your doors blown off. There's a lot that you're not able to simulate or replicate in a way that's going to be truly beneficial for next season. So for you to do what Ferrari did was asshattish. And now you're just rolling the dice that in 2026, Ferrari gods, I hope we just hit a bullseye. Did we hit it? That's really what you're doing. Red Bull had the right approach. I know we dislike when they come into seeing the livery launches and the car launches, but they had the right approach. Listen, we're not changing much of this. McLaren had the right approach. We're not going to change much. They said that right up front. We're not going to change much. Everybody else had the right approach except for Ferrari. We're going to change 90% of this car. Okay. How'd that work out? It's not. So he's losing patience. He is. And I'm going to tell you, I can't blame him. I can't blame him. Can you blame him? I mean, hell, I'd be losing patience. I'd be frustrated for real with Ferrari. I would be. And we're going to have to see how the rest of this season plays out. They're going to Singapore. We already know historically Singapore, especially with Massa, has been a troublesome circuit. You know, shout out to Massa still trying to go off on a wild goose chase on something that's not going to happen. And if it happens, it's going to be a slippery slope for a lot of other things to take place that people are going to hate on. But I don't think that's happening. So, yeah, it could be very true that eventually in the near few years that Ferrari's lineup may not only not include Charles Leclerc, but maybe not include Lewis Hamilton. Or do we see a reunion at Ferrari by way of Lewis Hamilton and George Russell? Because I doubt it would be Valtteri Bottas. He's about to be making his way somewhere else with a new team coming in, him and Sergio Perez. So could it be possible that we see a reunion of Russell and Lewis at Ferrari? I don't know what that brings. I know when it was there at Mercedes, many of you didn't care for it, and many of us didn't care for Russell's character as he was more focused on trying to just beat a GOAT when he was so far from being the best, instead of trying to help the team be the best. And then eventually when we get there, now let's go ahead and compete. So, but experiences do change a person. What's up, Fortis? Experiences do change a person. They do. And maybe Russell experiencing what he's going through right now at Mercedes kind of made him say, maybe I should have done that differently. Maybe now that I see what's going on with my contract, what's going on with Toto, what happened when Max maybe became supposedly futuristically available, how Toto just ran off into the mist. Maybe I should have handled my situation with Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes a bit different. And possibly going forward, if I'm ever in a similar situation, I am going to do it differently. Experiences change people. They do. Russell doesn't seem so it doesn't seem that Russell's incapable of realizing that mistakes were made and maybe I should do things differently. I'm not saying he will. I'm just saying he doesn't seem like he's incapable of making that happen. So I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what may happen. And we also don't know where Ferrari will land. We just can say more times than not, they haven't landed correctly. And so you wouldn't be wrong for saying, I don't think they're going to land correctly coming next season. You're not wrong for that. You'd be more wrong for saying that they're going to get it completely right. You'd be delusional, actually. Delusional for saying that without any real evidence that that's actually happened in the recent last 10 years. So Charles Leclerc's getting impatient. Lewis Hamilton is dealing with a very emotional situation right now as we're coming into Singapore. I don't anticipate any great things happening, although I leave the door open for them to happen. But the main thing that I'm going to be paying attention to this race weekend is McLaren, Red Bull, and Mercedes. I want to see if Mercedes is going to be in good form, or are they going to have a lack of performance due to the heating conditions of Singapore? Because that shit's hell down there. Miss Dino in the super chat says, Sir Lewis Hamilton back at Singapore, Team LH number 44, all damn day. You don't mind if I put the damn in there, do you? It felt good to put the all damn day in there. So that's what I'm watching. Ferrari, I'm just kind of in my form. I'm just whatever happens with Ferrari, I'll be on it, but I'm not looking for anything great there. Those are the three spots I'm looking at. I'm looking at McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes. Anything else that happens is just icing on the cake for me. So we are in race trim because we're in a race week, and it feels good to be back in a race week. We will be in Singapore, so we will be live throughout the rest of this week. We will be live for qualifying, and we damn sure going to be live for post-race highlights, and we're going to be live in the Wolves Den for the Discord meet because I think Singapore might bring us some papaya action. All right, chat. See you on the next one. Peace and love. Y'all be safe. Drink water. Stay healthy. And guess what? If you're down, turn that frown upside down and smile because if the sun's hitting your face, it's an opportunity to have a good day. As hard as it may seem sometimes, that still is true. Somebody didn't wake up, and you did. All right? Peace out.